you've heard of fortunes in the follow-up, right? And we've all missed opportunities where had we followed up with somebody enough times with the time sensitivity when we were supposed to, maybe we could have closed more opportunities, which could have, changed the trajectory of our businesses, of our career. And the problem that we're talking about here, guys, is that we're human, right? We are limited in our bandwidth, in our time, and in our ability to remember every single person to follow up with perfectly. And this is where technology can make a huge difference. Is things like a CRM to keep track of deals and conversations and stuff. And there's a what I call the final frontier, or the eventuality of every business, every sales professional, is automation. And it's in today's training, guys, I'm going to show you a very easy framework for creating a long-term nurturing sequence so that you never forget to follow up again, so that you can provide value to your audience, to your prospective clients, to your existing clients, past clients, provide value and education and stay top of mind with them in a very passive way so that you can get repeat customers, referrals, and of course, nurture your prospects to have them become clients. Before, guys, you could send one message and that chance of it landing was much higher, and the chance of it being responded to was much higher. Now things have changed, right? There's email deliverability problems. People's attention spans are so divided and so short with all that we have going on, that it's more important than ever to make sure we're staying top of mind with people, but in a way that's freeing for us, right? You can't, okay, at the end of the day, I'm going to spend from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock emailing every single person that I should follow up with, every single lead and every single past client with something valuable, right? That's not achievable. It's not even realistic. So this is the main purpose of automations, of this long-term nurturing sequence, guys, is to free up more of your time, to make sure you're in front of your audience in a valuable way that puts you in top of mind, where people are not ignoring your emails or your messages. They're not sending them to junk. And in fact, the opposite of that, where they're looking forward to your next communication and much more likely to build trust and act, right? Take action from these sequences. So we understand the problem. The problem is none of us have enough time to perfectly nurture and follow up with every single contact. We sleep, we have vacations, we have weekends, right? And our audience doesn't, right? If you have hundreds or thousands of people in your audience, they have all different kinds of schedules. So we need to make sure that we're leveraging technology to stay top of mind with these people, but not in a way that's spammy or annoying. This is what old automations used to be like. Hey, you ready to buy? You ready to buy? I saw you didn't buy yet. Are you ready to buy? Not exactly in those words, but that's what old school like automations looked like. They were just follow-ups without consideration, right? Because emails were getting delivered super well, and people were responding to more emails because there weren't so many distractions. And now this has all become much more difficult. So instead of something that really provides no value to the person receiving it, like, hey, they're just following up, you ready to purchase? What are you thinking? Right? That doesn't provide a lot of value to the person receiving that. In fact, it can be perceived as annoying or unnecessarily persistent, right? Like, hey, I would have let you know if I had questions. I'm not ready to go right now. And instead, what if we could provide them something of value that got them to build trust with us, that got them to see value in our product or service or offering, or had the light bulb moment happen for them, right? Like those are things that are of value. And in today's video, guys, that's what we're going to break down first. We talked about why we need automation, why every single person in a business development or sales role should be leveraging automation so that you don't miss when you don't need to, right? Put them into a sequence and it's done for you, probably in a better way than you ever could manually, right? We're limited again on time, effort, energy, creativity, all those things will suffer when we're trying to do too much. So instead, let's automate it. First, we understand why. Now, guys, I'm going to break down for you. This is also the handout for today. If anyone would like this physical copy of this, just put it in the chat here, or comment on this video if you're seeing it somewhere else, and we can get this handout to you. This handout is just the topics that should be considered for a long-term nurturing sequence. I'm going to break down some of each one of these for you because they're very different from each other, but these are all great examples of what something valuable in an email or in a message looks like. Now, The first one is the only one that I would say is maybe a little bit of a break from the rest of these, because this one is time sensitive. This one is chronologically sensitive because it's going to go first, right? We're putting someone into a nurturing sequence for a specific reason. Maybe they missed an appointment, right? They booked an appointment with you, and they didn't show up. And the last thing you want to do is chase down the person that missed their appointment until they come and do something else. Or maybe they filled out a form on your website, an advertisement, they became a lead for your business, and you've tried reaching out, calling, texting, emailing, whatever, and they didn't respond. And so, again, the last thing you want to do is to chase them down, try to send them an email or a text or social every day for however long until they respond or do something. These are just some examples of what would be a perfect time to trigger a long-term nurturing sequence. When I say long-term, I just mean it's not a week. This can be weeks, like 4 weeks. It can be 8 weeks. It can be years. So long-term, just more than a week, right? It's not one follow-up. And I want to start with this introduction one because I have here, who you are, what you're doing, mention that you will be sending them stuff. Why will you be sending them these things, right? To provide value to them. Hey, I like to make sure that I'm always of value to the people that are in my audience. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be curating topics, resources, and valuable items for you to consider so that you can learn insider secrets, be privy to knowledge that others don't have that's going to directly benefit you because we know who they are and we know why we're messaging them. So this first one, this is the only one that's not as whatever. These all the other ones can be changed in a million different ways, a million different topics. But this one is pretty structured. It's pretty standardized because this is, guys, where you're telling them, hey, we missed our appointment, and that's unfortunate. Some of my spots are limited, so I can't guarantee that we're going to be able to move forward. But what I wanted to let you know is I'm going to be sending you a couple of emails. They're going to be sent from here. I'm just trying to provide some value for you, some education and some insight, so you can learn some of the secrets about your problems, right? Everything I said there was very generic. So your guys' messages will not be generic. They will be specific. They'll be specific to the people, the personas, the ideal customers that are going to be going through these nurturing sequences. So who are they? How can we help them, right? And mentioning that we're going to be following up with them with free resources, with valuable insights, with things that can be easily perceived as being valuable to them, because you are in a position of a service provider, an advisor, a consultant, right? Something that has insight of information, of products, of outcomes that they do not have because they are looking at your product or service. So, and now we're telling them, I'm going to give you this. Let's take a very specific example like real estate. Real estate, we can say, I'm going to be sharing with you insights, tips, video guides on how to get the best value out of your home, on how to how to sell your home yourself, on like maybe it's a FISBO thing, right? Understanding who they are first before they're getting into a sequence is the most important piece. I always come back, guys, to the training, right? The training that you guys have access to is that founder coaching, which is including what I was just talking about, understanding that ICP, crafting value propositions for them. Those are all the framework that this is based off of. And that's why this first email is not so changeable as the other ones I'm going to describe. This is the one where you're going to let them know, hey, you're going to be receiving some stuff from me. And now here is a pro tip is you can also ask them to add your email to their contacts, right? Mark you as a sender, safe sender. Don't mark it as junk or spam or whatever. And say, hey, make sure you put a star on this email so that we can you can get access to all the other resources I'm going to be sending you. So also, maybe there's some low-hanging fruit, and this first follow-up is actually ready to take action. Every single one of these steps that I'm going to recommend, guys, is going to have a CTA involved in it. It's going to provide something of value, and it's going to ask them to take an action based on this topic, even in the first one. So whether your action is to book a call, to fill out a form, to visit a website, download an attachment, whatever you're wanting them to do, that's also going to be incorporated in these. Usually booking a call, website visit, form fill, those are some of the most common. So you still have that in your video. And you say, if you're ready to do this now, take action below. So this is what week one, and that's the only one that's labeled week one because that's the first one, no matter what. If you're putting someone in a sequence, they should immediately know why, what this is, what's happening. That way they can actually look forward to this instead of just saying, oh, well, this is a junk follow-up. I'm going to mark it as spam now. You're saying, hey, I'm going to be sending you some awesome things. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, that's it for week one, guys. If you have questions on that particular email, we can go into some more specifics. But again, it's based upon who you are, what you're doing, and your audience, who is going to be enrolled in these workflows and why. If it's to get them to rebook a meeting, like I said, they missed their appointment, then that's the CTA. And we're mentioning how we're going to solve their problems. We're going to help them in order to get them to rebook their appointment. So that's number one, always number one. The rest of these I'm going to break down, but these are all interchangeable. These are not week specific. And instead, these are topics, guys, that have a multi-pronged value approach, meaning they can be valuable in a number of ways. I'm going to break down each of these and give you guys the use cases in which they'll be applied outside of even just this nurturing sequence. The first one is social proof. This is testimonials, case studies, success stories, every different variation of what you can do to show that there's proof in your product or service that it works as it's supposed to from a social perspective, right? So from other people's perspective, from other people's story, that's just social proof, right? Just testimonial success stories, etc. First, I want to talk about what these guys, we have a full separate training for how to collect testimonials with Dubb. So if you don't have good video testimonials yet, that should be one of the first things that you're doing is collecting some really good testimonials with Dubb. What makes a good testimonial? That's in the training. It's a story, right? Stories make good testimonials. Quality over quantity when it comes to these types of success stories. If you are in a business that is like under NDAs, or maybe you're just starting out, or maybe the client isn't comfortable doing a testimonial just ever, or they're not going to, they just won't. You can also make your own, right? So I can pull up a visual. Maybe I have a sheet or a document or a slide, something that's representative, a visual representative of the outcome of the testimonial, the showcase, the case study, whatever that is. This is just a random document, but what I would do is I would record a video of myself telling that story, telling the success story, the case study, the testimonial. Hey guys, I want to tell you a story about a client here. We're under some NDAs, so I can't tell you exactly who they are, but I'll tell you that they're in this industry and they had this problem. And when we started working together, we were able to accomplish this result. So whether or not you're able to capture the testimonials directly from your own clients, you can always capture your own. So you can tell the story or the client can tell the story. The storytelling is a much more powerful version of testimonial, right? Because there has an arc and it connects emotionally, it connects logically, right? There's multiple reasons why you want a story versus just a picture that says went from A to B. That tells a story, but not the full story. So for social proof, guys, this can be a video testimonial of a client. It can be you talking about a success story of a client. It can be either combination of those things. It can be some of you, some of them. The whole purpose of this. Oh, one other example here is if you have written reviews. A lot of people have written reviews on like Google or something else. Perfect. Pull up those Google reviews and make it in a video format. Record a video of those reviews, telling the story behind them. Hey, my review here from John. I want to tell you about John. When we started working with John, XYZ was the case. Now we've accomplished the arc and John's over here. The hero's journey is accomplished. This, guys, you should, if you know what they say, fake it till you make it. I have worked with people that are just starting maybe in a new venture with similar experience. You need something here, guys. People don't want to work with people that have never done anything. Like I feel bad for the real estate agent that's never done a single transaction. That first one's always the hardest. Well, not always, but usually the hardest to get for any business, because people want to work with people that know they have a successful solution. So if you guys don't have these built up in your business yet, this is the time. This is the notice. The testimonial collection training is available for you, and you can create your own. Now, when I mentioned the multiple use cases of these, yes, this is perfect for a long-term nurturing sequence. Hey guys, I want to tell you a story about XYZ. If you are ready to accomplish the same thing in your life, in your business, click below, right? Book, form, website, etc. So that's how a social proof ties directly into the CTA for your long-term nurturing sequence. This can be email, this can be text message, this can be LinkedIn, as our buddy Emmett mentioned, is LinkedIn automations running. Any of those will qualify and count as a long-term nurturing sequence. Guys, look at LinkedIn right now. Maybe, I mean, depending on your job title or whatever, most LinkedIn automations for people that buy stuff, like roles that are responsible for purchasing, it's just a bunch of noise. It's just like multiple block text paragraphs of here's everything the way we do in our business, blah, blah, like a bunch of noise instead of something valuable. It's almost never something valuable. Here's a resource I wanted to share with you. I was thinking about you and I thought that you could benefit from this. I thought this story might be inspiring for you. Here's a story of John, and he's just like you. So, A, nurturing sequence. B, social, website for marketing, for advertising, for every other place where your business can be discovered. We can incorporate these testimonial, these success stories there. They can be embedded directly in your website. They can be posted directly to social media. You can recycle the same post to different social platforms for lead gen, for tickling the algorithm, right? If you're not posting anything regularly, then the algorithm won't benefit you. If you have a roster of testimonials to post, that's excellent content to power up your calendar. So, website, obvious. Social media, maybe less obvious. Not everyone's doing, everyone should be, right? And then nurturing sequence is where we started. Most of these topics are going to have multiple use cases. Social proof is a nice one because it's in a video format that can be posted everywhere. All right, let's continue. Guys, if you have questions on social proof, how to collect, where to use it, where it makes sense in automations, I'm going to be doing a recap of all these and how they come together at the end after we cover a couple more of the individual items. Education, guys, insider secrets. If I was going to work with a real estate agent and this real estate agent had nothing in the form of knowledge or expertise that every other brand new agent didn't have, like they just got their license, I could look up that stuff in Google in 2 seconds, right? I didn't get a lot of value from speaking to someone that's not an expert. And even if you are getting into this, right, you're starting, you need to educate yourself. You need to become the expert, become the trusted advisor. Otherwise, like what value, right? Like, I mean, AI might be changing things in the future, but right now, expert advisors, consultants are still extremely valuable, right? People trust people. They want to work with people still. So this is where being an expert in your business is extremely important. You likely already are. You also likely have some insider secrets, some information, some tips, some tricks of the trade, right? There's these things that you know that most people that are considering your product or service do not know. And this is where you can come in as the advisor, as the consultant, as the person who's deserving of their trust and time. Teach a tip, bust a myth, answer a common question, provide the insider secret, the trade secret, right? Provide something that they're like, wow, you know what? Nobody else is saying that. Like I worked with one of the highest rated agents in his area, and he has this awesome questionnaire that's like 21 questions that you're not asking your real estate agent. And he has those questions framed in a way that those are things that he obviously can do and can excel at, whereas most agents probably wouldn't be able to answer them. So that is a piece of a resource, right? It's insider secret. It's information that isn't readily available everywhere that people don't think of, people don't consider. Oh, well, you know what? I didn't think of that. That's the type of moment we want people to have when they're opening our longer term nurturing sequence. It's not like, oh, I forgot to buy. Let me buy right now. Maybe the 1% to 3% of your total addressable market that is ready to buy right now, they might have that thought. But more importantly, the 97+% of the rest of your audience who's not ready to purchase right now, we still need to build trust with them. We still need to make them have that moment of saying, aha, or you know what, this is, I got to do this. I have to activate this. And we do that by providing education. information, inspiration. So this one here, guys, insider secrets. If you are coming up short on, man, you know what? I don't even know what some secrets that I might share are. Chat is an awesome resource for that, right? If you're asking specifically for secrets or things that aren't considered, it's really good at finding some of those things. Speak to others in your industry, right? Let's get some awesome advice to share with people so that when they open your email or your text or your LinkedIn or whatever, they don't just say, oh, that's stupid. I don't, that's, they're just trying to sell me. They're like, wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting for me. I need to look more. I need to know more about this. I need to consider this. I hadn't even thought of that. Those are the types of things. Or, wow, this was so inspiring. That guy's just like me. He went through the same thing I did. So this is, you guys will see a common theme from these. It's the response, the thoughts that we're trying to elicit from the people that are receiving these nurturing sequences. The thought is something positive. The thought is something inquisitive, thoughtful, right? It's not, oh God, another sale. And he's trying to bother me again. I'm not ready yet, dude. And that is overcome by the preface, by the context, right? We said in step one, hey, I'm going to be doing my best to provide you the secrets and resources that others won't, right? For free. That's the idea here. Because the thing is, they're not paying for your emails. They're not paying you for anything yet. The idea is to give enough value up front to provide them the trust and the relationship for them to want to work with you, to pay you for the thing that you want them to pay you for. Okay, moving right along, objection handling. This is very similar to the other ones, right? Where you might be thinking, yeah, but I could just do this myself, right? Or yeah, but I can piece together these three different pieces of technology to do what you guys do, or whatever the common objections are, right? You, as the advisor, as the expert, as a person in this business, would understand what these common objections might be. What are they? Overcome them. You should absolutely have practiced handling objections up until this point, right? You've probably dealt with them in your business before. You should have some really powerful objection handlers, as well as knowing the most common objections to your business. Creating a topic about this provides that same thing here, and say, hey, you know what? I work with a lot of people just like yourself. And one of the most common things I hear is, oh, well, it must be expensive. And then perfect, and this is a very real feeling. And I validate that feeling. But here's the thing. It's not actually an expense when we do the math, when we look at it this way, something like that, right? So you're overcoming the objection in a way that's providing these other elements, that's providing your expertise. We're overcoming the objection with our expertise, with our insight, or perhaps with social proof. Hey, you might be thinking, yeah, this is expensive, but I'm going to tell you a story about John. John worked with me, and through my expert advising services, he was able to accomplish this. And this story is told time and time again. So that's why your objection of A isn't relevant. So again, we're just moving through these and realizing that each of them are interconnected. They all depend on us coming from a place of value, coming from a place of expertise, providing education, providing resources, which is up next. So common objections. Absolutely, you should know those, and you should have excellent objection handlers for those. You might even have resources or videos to help overcome those objections, or social proof testimonials, right? Each of these could be used to overcome those. Next, guys, free resources or invites. This is ebooks, PDFs, webinars, live training sessions, videos. Videos are awesome free resources. All of those are examples of free resources. If you've been in business for any length of time, you know what your people are interested in. You'll know if you're speaking to different people, different products, services, different ICPs. You should absolutely know what they're after. What is the most interesting thing for them? What is the most valuable sort of guides and resources and training for them? Is it a live webinar? Is it a handout? Is it a flyer? Is it a video? Understanding, or is it templates, right? We give away templates. This is a template right here we're looking at. So what do these resources look like for your business? Because what this shows is that, look, I'm thinking about you, person in my nurturing sequence. I thought that you could use this resource because other people just like you in my audience have found value from this resource. So that's how it's positioned, right? Compare those two emails, right? Hey, just following up. How's it going? You ready to buy? Versus, hey, you know what? I was thinking about our last conversation, and I put together this resource that I think is going to be perfect for some of the questions that you'd had. Right. That one shows that you're thinking about them, that you're trying to provide value to them, that you're not just trying to close another sale, versus the other one that you're just trying to close another sale and it's obvious. So resources, guys, if you don't have an idea of what the most valuable resources are for your business, that's worth an AI search too, or an expert conversation with a conversation with an expert in your industry. And if you guys are in something that is, sort of niche, or then AI is probably your best bet to get some ideas. Or come to this open mic, book an open mic. We can discuss together and really think deeply on what these types of objections and resources might be. So the last one here is, well, not the last one, kind of last one. The other ones are, I'll show you a little bit different. Personal check-in. This doesn't have to actually be personalized. You see here, I say appears simple and personalized, meaning it looks like I wrote an email to them. It looks just like this, where it's going to say, hey, Darius, just wanted to touch base with you and see if you are enjoying slash benefiting, right? Benefiting. I can't type right now. Benefiting from some of the resources I have been providing to you, right? As an example. So this is meant to appear personalized. It's a regular, simple, human looking email that looks like, where, again, not trying to close the sale, not just trying to chase them down for no reason. We're saying, hey, I wanted to check on some of the resources. Did you have any questions about those? Did you have any thoughts? Did you provide value from them? I mean, this is going to possibly give us some feedback. And they'll say, oh, I really liked this guide. I really like this thing. So that's the first thing. We should be talking to our customers. We should be trying to have conversations with them. And that's the idea with this is it's not just, hey, are you ready to buy? It's being attentive to the things that you've been communicating them. Hey, I've sent you these things. What are your thoughts? Have you been able to consume some of them? This does several things. One is it looks like a personalized message that you're following up with them, just touching bases to check on the things that you've been sharing with them, to see if they've been getting the value that you're providing them and what their thoughts on it. 2, it gives you feedback on your thoughts. 3, it can open a dialogue. So a lot of different benefits and values that can come from this. I would only put this one, and the reason I have this listed below the others is this one only goes after you've been providing value to them, because you're checking in on, did you get value from this? How's it going? Right? Not just the, hey, ready to buy. So this personal check-in, I should make sure to include that. Ask them their thoughts on the resources you've provided. That's really the purpose of this, is you have a reason to reach out. Hey, what are your thoughts on all the resources, on all this value I've given you? And you have multiple benefits that can accomplish from that. A, it's another touch point. B, you're going to learn some feedback. And C, we can potentially open a dialogue. All right. Another thing here, guys, these are 2 elements that I recommend to incorporate. This one, the direct irresistible offer. If your nurturing sequence is coming to an end, right? You have, maybe it's a 1-year sequence and you've emailed them once a month for 12 months, or it's once a week for 8 weeks, whatever that is. If your nurturing sequence is coming to an end, I'm going to recommend 2 things at the end of a nurturing sequence. Depends, though. If you have something else coming after, like you have a short term, and then after this, they're going to go into a 1 year, like they went from 8 weeks, and then after this, you're going to put them into a 1-year drip sequence, then I might not do this one. However, this one, if you're at the end, the complete end of your sequence, you want an irresistible offer. This means, what is the best, highest, most interesting version of your offer for your product or service or thing that you can give them? Because after this point, guys, we're only going to maybe have one more touch point, and then they're going to disappear, maybe forever, right? Because we're definitely not going to be sending more manual follow-ups to them. We're definitely not going to be calling and doing other stuff to them after we've exhausted, because we've already done that, right? We've already called them, we've already texted, we've already emailed them, maybe more than once. And that's why they've gotten into this nurturing sequence in the first place. So in a way, this may be the very end of the line. So this is where you guys want to present your main offer, right? Because if they didn't get it here, if they didn't take action from everything up to this point, there's a chance that we never speak to them again. So I have several things listed here: clarity, urgency, FOMO, fear of missing out, scarcity should be irresistible, guys. What does making we've done training on this as well, how to make an irresistible offer. That's also in the Dubb coaching training on YouTube as well. um your offer should be irresistible at this point. Your best, highest, last offer, right? This is it, guys. What's the lowest, the highest you're willing to go? What's the most you're willing to give, or the lowest you're willing to go in terms of a discount or something like that? um and if it's not discount, if there's no movement on price or whatever, what are you adding to make it more interesting? What are you taking away to make it more scarce, to have to increase that fear of missing out, to create a sense of urgency? What are you adding or taking away to this offer to add these compelling elements? Because again, this might be the last chance we ever have to speak to them. So I recommend this irresistible offer one at the end of the sequence. Only if you're not planning on doing other stuff after this, right? If you're taking them from a short term to a long term, I probably wouldn't do this unless you're going to make the same offer again. Then it's okay. I have one last thing here, guys, which is a final nudge. It says the idea with this, I should also put this, which is a breakup email. These can be positioned in a bunch of different ways, but the idea is we won't reach out anymore. So this is your last chance, is basically the idea of this last email. It's, don't write this exact words, right? Don't do that. But in your own words, we are repeating the irresistible offer and saying, this is it. This is the last time we're going to be breaking up with you. And if you guys even just do a quick search on this, like, what are breakup emails? It's going to give you a bunch of different examples. Look, they're the final one in a sales sequence. Why? Because they're extremely powerful. They get great engagement because the subject, like, that's not a great subject line. That one looks like a desperate thing. I don't actually like that one. I like something that's a little bit like this. Should I close your file? They're like, wait, what, who, what file? And then they're going to open it because, like, what is this about? Unless they recognize your stuff already. So I don't recommend something like this because that looks like, oh, you haven't heard back from me because I've been ignoring you. So AI doesn't always come up with good suggestions. That one, in my opinion, is terrible. This one is a lot better because it's like, hey, I'm not chasing you anymore and you're ignoring me. That's what that says. So, but it should say something interesting, compelling, tantal. They should all be that, guys. Every subject should be interesting and compelling, not just exactly what's there. But specifically this breakup email, this final nudge. It's like, hey, we're going to be closing your file. You will not hear from us anymore, and you won't get this offer again. This is our best, highest, irresistible offer, and you won't get it again. We hope to hear from you. Otherwise, have a great life, kind of thing, right? Not, don't be rude or whatever. But and now one other thing, guys, is I have had people that'll leverage a breakup email when it's not truly that. If that is your plan, where you're going to threaten them with the breakup email, but then it's not true, just be very sensitive about your next messages to them, because if they remember that, they're like, hey, I thought you said you weren't going to email me anymore. I'm always going to advise guys, never get yourself trapped or caught in some fallacy or some half truth or something like that. Just be honest and that's why I said to start with that, right? Make the expectations clear. Like, hey, I'm adding you to this sequence because you missed your appointment and these spots are limited. So instead, I wanted to provide you some resources, some value. And if and when you're ready to rebook your time, the option will be there. So check out these next sequences of messages. And I know you're going to find them extremely interesting because I put some of my best resources and training available nowhere else right here for you. So, guys, this is the structure of what a nurturing sequence should look like. Each of these can be social posts, can be a website element, free resource with a lead capture form. This is the only one that, right? Personalized check-in, that you can't have that on a website. You can't have that on social. Perfect for social, perfect for website, perfect for website, perfect for social. All of these ones are that same thing. Only the personal check-in and the irresistible offer are not something I would put on the website or social. This is meant for people that reach the bottom of your funnel and still didn't take action. You don't want to give your best, highest discount, whatever, usually at the top, right? Give them a chance to see if your funnel works. And if it doesn't, then you hit them with the last chance. So all these other ones, though, have not personal, everything above personal. So social proof, education, objection handling, resource, all can be repurposed on website, on social media, in advertisements even. So multiple purposes for each of those, and we can have multiple of these. Guys, this is not a email 1, email 2, email 3 sort of guide. This is the different topics that you should and need to be incorporating in your nurturing sequences. Could you have 3 be social proof? Absolutely. Could you have 3 social proof followed by 3 educations followed by 3 objections? Absolutely. There's not any standardized formula for which of these needs to go where. I would, however, recommend a combination of these things. Some's maybe an objection, some are a resource, some are insider secrets, some are social proof. That would be my recommendation. And guys, depending on the length of your nurturing sequence, if you want a 12-month, a 1-year sequence, bare minimum is once a month, right? If you're not emailing them or staying in touch with them at least once a month, they're going to forget. You're not going to be top of mind. So at least once a month. So that means 12 touch points. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means I need 5 more. That means I need to duplicate one of these, right? I need more than one resource, more than one objection handler, more than one testimonial or insider secret. Maybe it's like I said, 2, 3, 5 of each one of these things. You could literally have a sequence of just all insider secrets, or I'd probably be a little abusive to have all a sequence of just only objection handlers. That one's a little not as much, but social proof, insider secrets, resources, these 2 particularly, resources and insider secrets, those you can have unlimited number, right? It's always valuable. You're providing valuable information and free resources. So those are, you could have 10 of those, 10 of these, and in a 24-step sequence, twice a month for a year. This is what this looks like in terms of the structure of how to create a nurturing sequence. And in the next clip, we're going to go into how to actually build out the sequence in your CRM inside of Dubb, and potentially in other tools as well, including subjects, bodies, etc. And if you don't make it to the next video, I'll also show you guys this video right here in the Dubb Founding Coaching Showcase. Mastering Automation covers a lot of what I've discussed today. Not into the detail that I've gone into the exact emails. So this is new. This is fresh content, and it's going to be added to this showcase of the nurturing sequence topics. But this guy here is going to cover the pieces that I've teased you guys on, which is actually building out the automation. But all that is also preferenced on, email deliverability. Don't build automations until you've built your foundation and make sure your emails are working well. So, all right, that's it for guys. And if you have any questions, my group here, we'll jump in the chat in the Q&A. If you're watching this on YouTube or something else, leave a comment in the bottom and come join us. We're happy to help you.